Hello everyone and welcome to Talk of the Town. My name's Karen Bukes and I'm the host for the evening. Ken's not here tonight. He's at a FinCom meeting, hopefully not being beat up. He'll be here in a little while. He's only trying to get a beach rake for this town and I hope it goes through. I have a reminder for you. Please attend the Symes House annual meeting Thursday, September 18th at 7 p.m. at the John Alden Club. It's very important that you be there for your voice to be heard, and we will be talking about this when my second guest shows up. I have a few public announcements for people. They're very appreciative that we do this. Midnight Masquerade, Plymouth Rock's New Year's Eve party at Plymouth Memorial Hall. And that is, when is it, Jeff?
New Year's Eve.
No, I'm not sure. Oh, yes, it's the Halloween party that's the week before. Yes, it is New Year's Eve. Now, my guests don't talk. Okay. And it's going to benefit the Plymouth 400th anniversary celebrations. And it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful masquerade party. And that's Jeff Cohen. And you can contact him at One Stop Painting. And then there's Jeff's 18th annual Halloween party benefit. Now that's going to be a week before Halloween at Plymouth Radisson Ballroom, 7 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. And all his money goes to benefit someone right here in Plymouth. And that's going to be a good thing. And I wanted to do this Plymouth Electric Car Plug-in Day, Saturday, September 20th, 1 to 5, at Russell Street, right downtown Plymouth. There'll be a public EV charging station. And so that's September 20th if you want to go and get some free electricity for your wonderful car. And that's a good thing. Wish I had one. Now, let's say hello to some of our underwriters. Stoll's Cafe in Manomet, Evolution Salon, Brewster PC Solutions with Wrestling Brewster, Attorney Trifletti and Costa on Long Pond Road. An underwriter, Kevin and David Gallerani, owners of Cape Auto and Body and Service, Samoset Street and Sandwich Street, right here in Plymouth. We're in for a treat tonight. The show is different. You're going to hear about some local news that went national. My second guest, Randy Parker, I'm praying he'll get here on time. He has much to say about the Symes House, and as you can see, we're flying by the seat of our pants tonight. My first two guests just had a harrowing experience, and I tell you, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. What happened made national news. Thankfully, both are here to talk about it, and we really thank God for that. Please welcome Ida Parker and Kristen Orr.
Hi, Karen.
Hello,
Hi.
girls. And I want to really thank you for coming because I know that you've been through a lot publicly, and Ken's on his way. Rake passed. Moody broke the vote. Thank you, Mr. Moody. Girls, I know it's taken a lot, and I can't imagine as a parent if my child had been in the situation the both of you were in. And I just met your mother tonight, Kristen. She's a lovely, lovely lady. And of course, I know Ida and Randy.
Yeah.
Mary Ellen, I call her.
Yes.
And, I want to start this way. You were both almost eaten by a great white shark. Now, I don't know any other way to put that. I mean, you were inches away.
Yes.
He took a huge bite out of
Kristen's my kayak.
Your kayak. Well, okay, so you get up in the morning. Whose idea was it to go kayaking?
Mine. So Kristen and I actually work together. We work together all day long most days, and this particular Wednesday happened to be one of the most beautiful days, I think, of the summer. And we've been really busy. So midday I said to her, I really want to go kayaking this afternoon. So we were planning on going shopping instead that afternoon. I said, well, it's beautiful out. I really want to go for a kayak. And so about 3:30, 4 o'clock, we were heading home, and she was going to her house. I was going to mine. I said, "It's beautiful. Come back here. Let's go kayaking." And
of course, you've done it before.
Yes.
I mean, how many times? You're
Multiple.
Experienced kayakers.
Yeah. I think, one of the things about Manomet that I love is that my favorite days are when the sky melts into the ocean. I think everyone who lives here knows that, and it's just when the water's completely mirror calm, and it was one of those gorgeous days.
We actually had bought our kayaks together last year.
Oh.
We were haphazardly at Dick's.
They were an impulse buy. We walked by Dick's and we said,
I saw that.
yes, we need kayaks.
We need
Yes.
kayaks.
And
we
they
actually
were on
fought over
sale.
one.
Yes.
They were on sale.
Yes.
We
got a
fought
very
over the
good
first.
deal on them.
She sits and I'm getting this. I'm like, you don't even live on the ocean. I'm getting it. And so the lady outside was like, guys, there's more kayaks inside. Why don't you come look at them? And so we picked out matching kayaks,
Yeah.
matching life jackets, matching paddles.
Yeah.
Everything she had was red. Everything I had was yellow.
Yep.
And they live at my house. I take care of them and lock them up and
I
clean
see them
off.
on the side lawn. Yeah.
Yep, that's where they live.
Yeah.
And so, whenever she comes kayaking, it's usually at my house. And we love it there.
Oh, a lot of us do. Where Frank Collins is Megan
Yes.
Collins, their fish market is right at the point there. That's where it happened?
Actually, no. It happened kind of.
Yeah.
So where Frank Collins and the Lobster Pound is
Right.
Manomet Point.
Right.
Then you have that little harbor, and then you have
Yes.
Stage Point.
Yes.
So it actually happened off of Stage Point inside the harbor where Manomet Bluffs is.
Oh, okay.
So
Closer to your
Closer.
home.
You can see it from my window.
Okay.
Where the incident
We had
happened.
kind of cut out from her house across the little area. We were headed to the point.
And you've done that 100 times.
Yeah.
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 So that was a natural thing to do.
Yeah. For the most part.
Tell us what happened.
I had got to Ida's house. She had already gone out, and she had my kayak all set for me. So
Life jacket.
paddle, everything. She's down at the ocean edge. So I kind of got in, paddled out to her. She was already out at the moorings. And we were just chatting and enjoying the beautiful day, and had decided to head out towards the point.
It's where we usually go. It's
Yeah.
the best part of out there, especially at low tide, and there's rocks, and you can see the fish, and it's really a lovely place to go kayaking.
I think our original plan was we were actually going to pull up on the point, and my mom, as I ran out the door to say I'm going kayaking with Ida, had given us chicken salad sandwiches.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was
So we
eating
had
a chicken salad sandwich.
We had the sandwiches, and we were going to pull up on the point and hang out there for a while, and actually wait until dark to paddle back in the phosphorus.
Yeah, the
was our original
phosphorus
plan.
water.
Sure.
It's beautiful.
And I think we had only been in the water for
25 minutes.
Yeah. The 911 call was made, I think, 25 minutes after we had gotten in the water.
Thank God you had your phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were paddling, and I hadn't been kayaking in a while, so I was complaining to Ida that my arms hurt and to rest.
Yeah. So we would stop and I'd be like, oh, okay, let's keep going, and kind of, because she hasn't been out this summer yet.
Yeah.
And I had been out a couple of times, so I was a little bit ahead of her. But we were
taking photos of each other,
tossing the camera back and forth, because I have a waterproof camera that comes with us everywhere. And a float, so it floats.
And you had a camera on the boat.
Yeah, we have a GoPro that we use for everything that we do, from hiking to snowboarding, and
whitewater rafting.
Whitewater rafting. It goes. It takes video, but it also takes photos. So we had a mount on the kayak for that. And Ida was just a little bit ahead of me.
Yeah.
And we were
talking.
actually chatting about the seals. We were talking about how curious they were.
Yeah, and how they'll come up behind you. They'll actually follow you.
Yep.
And it's something they've been doing for multiple years now.
Yeah.
And
I think that was the exact conversation that we were having, as she was saying, when you paddle, be quiet and listen behind you.
Yeah.
You will hear the seals come up behind your boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had turned to look at her because we were talking, and that's the moment where the great white decided to take a little nibble.
Yes.
He appeared.
Yep.
He appeared with quite a
with force.
plan, yes.
He was, so you hadn't seen him before. He was on the side or in front?
He actually came up. Sorry, Kristen. I cut
Go
you
for
off.
it.
On the side of the kayaks, in between both of us.
Oh, joy.
So we were next to each other, maybe 2 feet away. I probably
pretty
could have
close.
reached. We just handed the camera off, I
Yeah.
think. So I was reaching over to her. That's how close we were. And so he came up on the side of hers and on the side of mine. So right in between us is kind of where he.
Oh my God.
Right in the center of the kayak, actually.
It was
we looked
definitely
at it later.
exactly right underneath where my legs
Okay, now
were.
stop.
Yeah.
What was your first thought? What was your first thought?
Oh my God! It's a great white shark.
And you?
I'm in the water.
I'm in the
Why?
water. It literally, and I say to Ida multiple times, had I not seen him after I'd fallen, I wouldn't have believed it. I think at first, I don't remember falling out of the kayak, or I just remember being in the water. But I remember at that moment thinking, I hit a rock, or it's a seal, or it's something. And I think, on my 911 call, I had said something bumped me out of my boat. Like, that's what it felt like. I hadn't known that he had actually come up and breached the kayak.
Yeah.
And I fell in the water, and I think, the next thing we know, you see his mouth on it. And
Oy.
and I think one of the first words I said to you was, Ida,
a shark.
that was a shark.
And I said, yes, it was. And then her next word was, what do we do? And I said, don't move. Get in your boat. Don't move. Just stay there.
Yeah.
And
So at that point, and I think at that point, I didn't know that he had bit the boat. I literally thought he had maybe appeared. I didn't know that, things were as treacherous as they were. Unfortunately, Ida had a front row seat to him coming up.
Yeah.
And the hilarious story, and something I will never let my mom forget, is, so immediately we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And we had dry bags with our cell phones in them. And we always go kayaking with our phones. And Ida's kayak was actually upside down. She was actually in the water up to her waist, just hanging. But I was able to get into my submerged kayak, and I pulled out my iPhone. And I said, who do we call? And I tried to call Ida's house
nobody
first.
is home. Don't call there.
So I called my mom's cell phone, and I said, we call the Coast Guard. I don't know why I said that. We just got attacked by a great white shark. And my mom's response was, haha, funny
really
girls.
funny.
Because if you know Ida and I, we joke about a lot. We're really kind of outgoing personalities. So I think, there was a couple of engagements of, I'm not kidding, I'm serious. And I just remember looking at Ida and just feeling desperate, saying, she doesn't
thinks
believe
we're
us.
kidding.
She doesn't believe me.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, she probably heard it in my voice. Because I think I was more yelling than crying at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of that,
And so
adrenaline.
who called who?
My mom, I think, ended up calling 911, and then I realized
We
could
could
call
call
911 too. So we called 911. Actually, to kind of set the record straight, the 911 call that's out on the internet was actually the second call. There was a first call to a woman, and I think she was sick of me screaming at her and transferred me to somebody else.
Oh, really?
But shortly after that, we started yelling for help. Ida started yelling for help. And there was an amazing man that paddled out. He first yelled,
I'm coming.
I'm coming, stay where you are and whatnot.
It's from the police department.
No. From a neighbor.
A neighbor.
He heard us screaming.
A summer neighbor. He heard us.
Do you want to say his name? Give him an accolade?
I'll say his name is Tom.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't want to give out too much of his
We've
personal
been in
information.
contact with him.
Yeah, and he's
God
a wonderful
bless
man.
him.
Yes.
He kept us calmer than I think anybody else could have in the given situation, and we were actually able to talk to him before the show today, and we're able to say thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Tom. You
Yeah.
saved 2 wonderful girls.
Yeah, he
He
definitely came out, and he was actually able to come out. He also made a 911 call, and he was actually able to pull us together.
Yeah, we were drifting apart from each other at that
which
point.
was very scary.
Did you, now, I would panic, and what you have to do is think clearly.
Yes.
When did you start to calm down, and did you ever panic?
She panicked.
I panicked.
Well, you know, I say
Yeah.
to you, that's a natural thing to do.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
But you couldn't have panicked that much because you probably would have been eaten
Yeah.
if you thrashed around.
I was lucky I was with my best friend and I trust her, and when she told me not to move, I tried not to move.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you just want to get out of the water. I would do anything to crawl out of the water at that moment
She
because
was begging poor
Ran.
Tom to
I was begging to get in his kayak with him.
Yeah.
You just because I think the shark attack happened so fast. He was there and he was gone. He clearly did not want to eat us.
Yeah.
But being in that water, not being able to see
where he
was, or and
Yes, you didn't know.
it's not like
Yeah.
we saw a fin and he swam over to us. It was
Right.
just out of nowhere, and
He
so
just came up
Yeah.
and lunged.
Yep.
Yep.
He smelled those chicken sandwiches. I'm
It
telling
must
you.
have been what it was. They were delicious.
chicken salad.
A quick story. I'm in Florida, and we went on a picnic, and we made these great sandwiches, and we're sitting by the water, and I see two eyes and a snout coming right for us. It was an alligator. And sandwiches went up in the air, jumped up on the picnic table, and but I swear, they must have smelled something. That
Did the alligator
sandwich.
get the sandwich?
I don't know. We ran like, you know what. We jumped in the car and shut the doors. But so the police came, the fire department came, our ever trusty fire department and police department.
It was actually the harbor master.
Oh dear God. Okay.
The harbor master came.
All right.
The harbor master and the fire department actually showed up at the same time.
Yeah.
The harbor master obviously had to come from
Boy,
Plymouth.
he flew.
Yes, took about 30 minutes, I think, to get there. And then the fire department launched, I believe, at Whitehorse in their Zodiac. And, we couldn't be more grateful to the people who came to rescue us. And that was one of the best moments was getting onto the boat.
And I don't think we were the nicest people to be rescued.
The poor man.
I don't know, but he works for the fire department, and they had come over and immediately jumped in the water.
And we were like, "What are you doing? Don't get in the
And he
water!"
was trying to pull me out of my kayak, and I was not going. And
Well,
I'm like, "What are you doing? There's a shark in the
They
water."
understand. They
Yeah.
understand shock. I mean, they're trained
Yeah.
for this, and I'm sure they were calm and
Oh, they were so
calm.
helpful.
Yeah.
I was like, "Kristen, just let him rescue you.
Yes.
Just let him bring you to the big boat." And she finally
let go.
And got us onto the big boats. But
So now you're on the big boat, and you get to land, and what's the first thought?
well, she got taken in first, I think. So
Yeah.
I was still on the boat, and her mom was there, and my whole family showed up.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
from Manomet.
They were close, so.
And she got pulled onto land. I think you actually told my mom that I was okay.
Yeah, that was the first thing I said to
Oh,
Ida's mom. Is
that-
Ida's on
yeah.
the boat and she's okay too.
Thank
Yeah.
you. They're thoughtful.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm still on the boat, and I'm like, I just want to be off this water. And
Right.
the harbor master is the nicest man, because I
Yeah.
am hysterically crying now at this point. It's the first time I think I've really lost it in
Yeah.
the whole situation.
Because your nerves let go. Now
Yeah.
Now
you're
I'm-
in safety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was,
Yeah.
the uncomfortable man hug, but it was
Fine.
it was amazing that they were able to do that. And finally getting onto land, I think it was so relieving, and to see our families and just to be able to tell them that we were okay. That was
Hug and-
really the first thought I had, was letting everybody know we were all right.
Yeah. And then I think second was, did that really just happen?
Yeah.
Because it was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I
Yeah.
think to everybody involved, from our family to the harbor master, that something would happen.
Well,
right
we
there.
heard the helicopters for days after that because they were tracking them.
Yes.
And I would get a phone call from Whitehorse Beach. Oh, they're over the house now, and they kept up, and there were other sharks seen. So I think that's the way of our life. That's the way it's going to be now.
Yeah.
Well, and we live on the water.
Yeah.
And I think everybody who lives on the water, we all know what's down there. We all know that there are sharks in the water. We all know that there are seals there. But to actually think that it's going to happen to you, it's not something that you would think about happening every day. And I think that's kind of where, we were, is that you know that it's a possibility, just how you know if you get in a car that getting in an accident is a possibility.
Right.
Well, this terrible situation has turned into something positive. Why don't you tell us?
Well, we've actually been talking with the Department of Marine Fisheries a bit here and there, and we've always been great advocates of great white sharks, and part of what we're doing now is we really want to help support research for the sharks, especially because they're going to be in our area, and if they're going to be here, we need to let the public
Understand
know,
them.
and educate a little bit more about great whites. So
I think it's a matter. Sorry, but of not going in the water. But how do we better understand the shark, and how do we kind of respect their home, really, but still be able to utilize and be able to go swimming and go kayaking.
So we live in this beautiful area, and to not be able to take advantage of that is sad. So I think to have some more research and education about it, and support research, it's the Atlantic whiteshark.org, and they have a bunch of really awesome little trinkets on there that you can buy.
Yes.
We have our shark fin necklaces that Kristen's mom bought us.
It's beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
okay.
This is silver, and it's
It is.
just beautiful.
And we love them, and proceeds from all of these things go to supporting the great white shark. And that's really what we want to advocate for. And there's believe it's called the Gills Club, and it's education. The Gills Club, and it's education on great whites, and it helps empower girls to take leadership positions and all of these other things. So there's a lot of really great research out there, and if anybody is interested, to go on to atlanticwhiteshark.org and purchase there's bracelets and necklaces, license plates. If we get 1,500, then they'll start printing the license plates. So the Cape Cod and Islands now will have the great white license plate.
Are you going to go down to Woods Hole?
We're hoping to.
Yeah. Well, that's a very positive thing, and you didn't internalize it. You're projecting out, and you want to help others understand. Have you contacted Town Hall at all? I think third floor, our town manager, would love to hear that you are. Oh, David Gould, the Marine director there. He would love to hear what you're doing.
And
he would help you. He would help you. He would love that, because he would understand. And I'm just so grateful that I can't imagine getting that phone call. And I can see everybody running down there.
Well, my mom, after Kristen's mother had actually called my mother and said, I don't know, these girls are saying that there's a shark in the water and that they're in trouble, and my mom said, get down here now. And so Kristen's mom jumped in the car and drove down here as fast as possible, but I know my mother was sitting on the bluff watching us in the water. I've talked to her.
Oh, God love her.
She actually had deduced that Kristen was fine, and that I had been attacked, essentially.
Because they couldn't see Ida from where she was.
And Kristen was the one making the phone calls.
Oh,
so,
no wonder.
Being a parent in that situation, I apologize, I think 100 times, because I think putting our families through that has been more traumatic than the incident itself. And we do like to call it more of an incident or an encounter, because he wasn't really attacking us. He thought we might be a seal, and rightfully so. There were seals there, and we were there, and we looked like a really nice, big, tasty.
The joke is that I was the slow zebra, and that's why he went after me. But
Gazelle.
But we think of him as a very good shark, because he did have the power to complete that bite, and he didn't. And he kind of was like, what's this? This isn't a seal. And he did take off, because, he had the ability to do a lot more damage than he had. So.
Now, what's happening Friday? Something's happening this Friday?
This Friday.
Oh,
that's kind of a secret.
Yeah. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's
You didn't tell me not to say anything.
That's okay.
You know how things get around so quick.
Randy Parker, that's how things get around so quick.
No, actually, it wasn't your father.
It was my mother.
No, it wasn't her either.
Which part of my family was it?
It wasn't. Kenny's back. That's great. Okay, G. Too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have to wait and see what's
Wait
in
and see.
store.
Yeah.
Next summer.
Yes.
Coming
Next
to you on a
summer.
TV near you.
Oh, that'll be great. And if you get that video on that camera,
I know.
We'll keep it to ourselves.
Yes.
I know. And Randy's not here, so I would like to broach another subject
Sure.
because I know that how involved you are in it, and that's the Sims house.
Yep. And both of us are actually very involved. I think
Yes.
Kristen and I go to 98% of all of the fundraisers.
Yes.
My mother has wrangled her in, and we dress up as Easter bunnies,
Yeah,
actually.
we were the Easter bunnies last
Yep.
Easter.
I saw you.
Yes.
Yes. And I knew it was Ida, but I didn't know
You didn't
it
know
was
Kristen
yes.
yet.
Yeah.
Yep, so she has actually been a huge part, and we've done photo shoots for the Symes House to help raise money. You know, I think it's a really important project for Manomet. I think that it's
our green.
It is. It's what we need.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, everybody knows that my dad's been fighting for it for a really long time, and the Manomet Master Plan he helped develop, I don't know how many years ago, 15?
But Dad's been at it for a very long time. He understands community.
Yeah, he does.
He is the essence of community.
Absolutely.
I don't know that man to have a single selfish bone in his body. He always places the community first, at his detriment at times.
Oh, absolutely. He's never home. And when he is
Yeah.
home, he's working or doing
Yeah.
something for the Sims house or doing something for, you know, any other number of community projects.
Yeah, and your mother's right there along with them.
Yep.
And they're very unselfish in what they do. Now, as a town meeting member, and I'll discuss this if Randy ever gets here, I remember that phone call that I got from Randy Parker, out of breath, telling me Manomet had an opportunity. And he talked so fast, I said, Randy, slow down, say it again. And he told me that there was a potential property coming up in Manomet. It might go for affordable housing. Nobody was notified. And town meeting, I believe, at that time was 3 days away.
I believe you're right. He had
Very
read
little
it.
time. Yeah, he read it. Nobody was notified, and the town apologized for that. It slipped through the cracks. So he said, get on the phone, rally precinct 7, call as many people as you can to support this for town meeting. So I did. He got up on town meeting floor, Randy Parker, town meeting member in precinct 7, and made the case. Please, let's see if we can purchase it somehow, the land, because Manomet always wanted a green. We don't have a place to congregate.
No, we used to, the elementary school children, we all used to meet at Luke's.
At Luke's.
For
I remember that.
at
My
Luke's.
kids, yeah.
Forever, ever since I can remember,
Yeah.
we had been meeting at Luke's for Santa and the tree lighting.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they allowed us to do so.
Absolutely.
They were great.
The
we
Luke
loved
family
them.
is wonderful.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But you know, imagine a whole bunch of little 5-year-olds in the
Yeah.
parking lot of a liquor store. We,
Yeah.
we needed a real location.
Yes.
And I think that's what the Sims House and Manomet Commons is going to do for Manomet.
Yeah.
I mean, people who aren't even from Manomet love to contribute to it, you know. And Kristen's mom comes a lot to a lot of the fundraisers and the events that we have there, and so you know, it's important to a lot of people.
It certainly is, and I mean, we do it monetarily. I have Randy on the program as often as I can, and we support their vision, Randy Parker's vision
Yeah.
of what it should be. And so to get back to town meeting, Randy made his case. I got up and asked town meeting to please give Manomet a chance. They did. From there it went on, and there was a lot of work done, and it was the greatest time because everybody came together. And a CPC became involved, Bill Cohane. It was just a wonderful community event, which I believe now has been hijacked by a certain individual who is a director. And I just simply won't allow that.
Well, I think, what we're looking at is it's a division. And, it's supposed to be about the community, and it's supposed to be about the people in the community.
Right.
And right now, I don't feel like that's necessarily happening.
Right.
Which it's sad, because we were all at one point able to come together as a group. I remember the first time that we got to go in there, it was magical, and so many people wanted to help, and so many people wanted to be a part of that. And I think that's what made it such a great project.
Well, so many people left because they weren't allowed to be part of it, and there were great ideas, and I know each person who gave those ideas and were shunned. So they eventually left, and I think that was the goal, because they are exclusionary. They do not, certain members of that board do not want the public involved. And that's wrong. You're using public monies, and certain things are expected.
Well, and if I understand things right, I'm not sure I do, but the bylaws were changed.
Bylaws were changed.
And members are not always allowed at certain meetings
Well,
now.
meetings are held in someone's home and behind closed doors, and things are done without any notice or including the public. And there's your father, the president of the Sims house, and he's been excluded.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, he was asked to resign.
he was.
And which is the worst thing that could happen to that house, that foundation, and to Plymouth, because Randy Parker understands community. And I looking forward to tomorrow night.
It will be interesting.
It'll be very interesting. And what's on the agenda? Do you know?
Well, I saw the agenda. I wish I'd brought it with me.
Yeah.
I believe on the agenda is, obviously you have to go over all the minutes and all that stuff, but I'm wondering if it will be brought up. I know that there are 2 chairs on the director's board up for a vote, whether to keep the incumbents in, or there are 2 more people running. So I know that will be on the agenda
Did they
tomorrow
make
night.
up their mind already for that?
I believe Mary Ellen Parker is running for one of the chairs.
I'm talking about the incumbent seats.
No, I'm not sure. I think that was yesterday or today's vote. I'm not sure how that went.
Well, see, I don't think the board should be saying who they're for or who they're against.
I agree.
That's up to the membership.
Agreed, but that's one of the things that the membership is not always allowed to vote for. Like, I believe we're also not allowed to vote for, correct me if I'm wrong, you might know better, president, vice president. I believe that the members of the board are the ones who are allowed to vote who's president and vice president.
Yeah.
Something weird like
I believe you're
that.
Right. But, they got changed.
They got changed. I'm not
Mr.
sure what they are.
Shane made sure that he got them changed. But Randy has a term. It's
Yes.
not up for
It's
a
not
couple
up.
of years.
No, I believe he just got reelected into the position, if I'm correct.
Okay.
Um,
And another thing, Ida and Kristen, that house has to be self-sufficient.
Yep.
Town meeting voted to give the monies, understanding that that house was to be self-sufficient.
Yes.
And so that means a functioning, a workable catering kitchen.
Well, I believe that we were trying to not just get a catering kitchen. We wanted the
Industrial?
yeah.
Yes.
And they were looking at finalizing those plans. I believe the last directors meeting they had, which I think was yesterday.
Okay.
I am hoping, because I did talk to Dad after the meeting, that is in motion. That they do
Yeah.
have industrial grade appliances going in, and a gas stove.
Yep.
Which is good.
Which is fine.
But it wasn't going to be that way.
Why has it been held up for a year?
I just think because a lot of people disagree on what they want. And instead of taking it to the membership, it's been held a lot in the board. And I think, part of that is my own fault for not necessarily being to all of the membership meetings when they have them. But I feel like a lot of people aren't aware of what's
Isn't that
happening.
once a year, though, Ida?
Membership meetings?
Yeah.
I believe it's every 4 months.
Is it?
There's one September 18th and there's one in December.
Oh, yes, I went to one in
We had one in June or May.
just before the park was purchased.
Yeah, there was one back then also. So I think
went.
there's 4 a year.
Yeah.
But that's not a lot. And the minutes that were supposed to come out of all of the directors' meetings were not coming out on time. And so I don't think a lot of members were able to see what's happening at the directors' meetings for 3 or 4 months. So then by the time you go to a membership meeting, something that happened 4 months ago at the directors' meeting you don't even know about. Mm-hmm. So how are you supposed to keep up with what's going on?
Right. I think,
Membership driven.
yeah. And, well, we'll get to the bottom of it tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Is Kenny, is Randy here? Oh, thank
Hi,
God.
Dad.
How'd it go,
Perfect
Randy?
timing.
Hello, girls.
Hello, Randy. How'd it go?
It went well enough.
Okay, good. I want to thank Ida and Kristen for coming on to the program. It took a lot, but you were so relaxed, Kristen and Ida. I'm so happy. It's only going to get easier from here.
Well, thank you for having us here.
Oh, anytime. And you can take off your mics, and Randy will sit down.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, I will see you tomorrow.
Give
night.
my love to your mother.
I will.
And nice meeting your mother, Kristen. Nice to meet you. Yes, I'll see you again. Yes. Well, Randy, you made it. And you know, did you drive here like a maniac or what?
No.
No, good. Good.
You gonna hook me up?
Yeah, I'll hook you up. I think it's 3. I think. Let's see. I think you're 3. Well, I did get into it a little bit, Randy, and you know me. The reason why people really don't care for me is because I am very candid. Look, I've been town meeting member now for going on 15 years. I understand the community, just, like you do. I pull no punches. I don't have to, all right? What I say are gleaned from facts and firsthand observation. Now, I'd like you to do it in the way you're comfortable with and tell us about the Sims house.
Well, I don't know that there's any comfortable way to address the Symes house these days. It started in 2010. We got the CPA money in 2011. The exterior was complete Thanksgiving of 2013. We had hoped to have the entire project done by October of 2013. We started to have, to be candid, some difficulties on the board. When that happened, I'm not exactly sure. There was a meeting that I needed to attend, the Zoning Board of Appeals in Town Hall, leaving the meeting in the hands of the Vice President, and there was a motion and the passage of a policy, a resolution, that members would not be allowed to attend directors' meeting. To my way of thinking, that's exclusionary. I know that others take issue with that. They're certainly entitled to their own opinion, but it was at that point, I think, that the philosophical split occurred.
Yeah.
And there were directors that started to go to what I would call an autocratic direction, and there were others of us that continued to go to what I would term the democratic position or direction, looking to keep inclusion and transparency, openness, such as we can. But as time went on, directors were replaced and attitudes changed, until a majority of the directors really looked at the Symes House and, I guess in my opinion, developed a vision that was different than the vision I held standing on town meeting floor in 2010, and the vision that I think the residents of Manomet hold for the house themselves. I've heard it termed as primarily an historic restoration. It's an historic restoration, but to me, the essence of the project is as a community facility.
They're treating it as a museum.
Well, I don't. We haven't gotten to the point yet that we are treating it as anything, and I think that may be a topic for discussion tomorrow night at the meeting. It is at the John Alden Club at 7 o'clock, and it should be interesting. There is a bylaw proposed that I had written. A couple of the directors, one of the directors at a meeting Monday night said they'd never seen anything like it. And I could take that as a compliment. It was written from the experiences that we've been through over the last 2 or 3 years. It looks to address issues that I think are pertinent at their base. If we can solve if we can address a problem at its root, we can solve many problems.
He's the president. Yes.
Yeah, I am Randy Parker, the president of the Symes House Foundation.
Well,
you're welcome.
You don't have to answer this, but from what I understand, one of the directors went to town hall, and when asked who he was, because he was asking for information from the health department, I think it was, and when they asked him who he was, he said, the president of the Symes House. And the person said, no, you're not. I know the president of the Symes House, and you ain't he. And needless to say, he didn't get the information.
Well, and I can't speak to that firsthand. I wasn't there.
Yep.
And I don't know that I'm in a position to
Comment.
operate on hearsay. I do know that it will be an interesting agenda for tomorrow night. We do have a motion to take other business out of order, being the election of 2 directors. That constitutes a contested election. So we will take all nominees, and as do the selectmen, vote for each of those individuals, and the 2 getting the highest count will be the 2 directors for the next 3 years. It's gotten to the point where we go to directors' meetings, and I don't know that I ever or very seldom miss any meeting, that the directors have looked to enforce my resignation.
Yes.
And I've bent, and I've made some mistakes along the way, but my first and highest obligation is to town meeting, to the town of Plymouth, to the community of Manomet. There may be a motion tomorrow night to remove me from the position of president. And if that's the case, we'll deal with it. There may be a number of motions. I'll be making a motion to override director's decision to not put the project out to bid. It's $1.495 million to finish that interior. And whether it's incrementally or in its total, our due diligence, I believe, requires that we put that amount of money out to bid.
It's public money.
It is. We can hope that some private money comes along the way in the interim, and that we have an opportunity to get it all spent, but we've got to go through the bid process. And you know, the Community Preservation Committee has candidly been very, very good to us, and I know that they share the view that it ought to go out to bid. I know that the Spires has, for example, had great success
Yes.
in working with the CPC and their administrative funds that they delegate to things like providing a professional grant writer. We've applied for I don't know how many grants. And we've gotten one for $50,000 from Mass Historical. In applying for the grants, some other stuff has fallen out. We've heard from A.D. Makepeace, who may be interested.
Very good,
if the
Randy.
planning board is interested, and the town in entertaining in lieu of affordable units, contributing to ours. So that could be a very good thing. We're trying a transfer of development right out of the park on Whitehorse Beach. That's not going particularly well through the process. It really is a planning board venue. It's the sort of thing that the planning board would bring forward. And they like time to deliberate and plan and look at all of the consequences
Sure.
and such. I understand that, but the House is under some pressure to get the first floor done, to get
What's
some
held
heat
it up?
in it.
What's held it up?
What's held it up? Well, I guess that in my opinion, it would be helpful, most especially on the interior, to have a professional project manager. The RFPs have been written in-house. The first one took 7 months to get comfortable with.
When you say get comfortable with, who had to get comfortable with it?
The individual.
The membership?
Pardon me?
The membership?
No,
No.
the directors and procurement working together.
Okay.
Developed a level of comfort to send out the RFP to do the exterior.
So I'm assuming there were quite large debates about it.
Well, I don't know that there were large debates. I mean, at that time, we were discussing things rationally amongst
Okay.
the directors. And, you know, there's a philosophy, I guess, on my part that isn't always efficient. If people want to help, let them. And at that time, people were willing to work on the RFP.
Yeah.
And it might have taken longer than necessary, but we'd rather have, I believe, the volunteerism and the effort and that feel good that a person gets from pitching in and helping.
Of course, you become vested in the Symes, in the Sims Symes. I'm stuck at Symes.
Well, you can get you can.
But I'm going to tell you, the way, from my observation looking in, it's become their club. It's like a gentleman's club. Because the public is, you know, they given this token of being able to go every, 4 months now?
Yeah, quarterly.
Okay,
every 3 months.
quarterly.
Yeah.
And the last meeting I was in, one of your directors kept looking at his watch and looking out at the people, looking at his watch. You know, that's not very nice.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, I guess. But you know, we need to get back to the vision that we had at the beginning, and
Yep.
that was to create a vibrant, vital, active, multi-use facility with a community center, a working kitchen that we appear
Working.
to have resolved,
Yes. Oh, good.
sustained by businesses and affordable units within a village green. I'd like to talk a moment, if I could, about the kitchen.
Absolutely, go ahead.
We have been debating this kitchen since May. We've been debating bidding or not since May. And we finally did have a meeting. It's unusual to do so, have a meeting with inspectional services the health department, the plumbing inspector. We wish fire could have made it, but we were able to get clarifications as to obtaining a kitchen that has what is known as it's a non-residential kitchen. We're not a residence. We can't have a regular kitchen.
Okay.
We're not a restaurant. We're not looking for a commercial grade kitchen.
Okay.
But what we've gotten to is a kitchen that has the hand sink, the mop closet, two-bay sink, stove, oven, cooking with gas. I've heard from 3 people that if you have a kitchen that caterers can use,
For
they'll
weddings
pay,
and...
well, yeah, they'll
Yeah.
pay anywhere from 25 to 40 bucks an hour for the use of that kitchen, and it was absolute affirmation from the town in our meeting that absolutely caterers can come in here and cook because you've addressed the sanitation. There's a grease trap. There's a grease tank.
Good.
It has everything that it needs, so a caterer can come in, prepare food. The van sits there for the day. It leaves, very benign, but it gives us a revenue stream.
You have to have it, Randy.
Well-
That was town meeting's understanding, that it would be self-sufficient.
The other thing that we've done is we've taken the interior, which is phase 2,
Yeah.
and we've divided it into 2A, 2B, and 2C, first, second, and third floor.
Okay.
So we're spending the money that we have to complete the first floor so we can generate operation and further infrastructure money to get to the second and third floors. It also creates interest and gets people on and in the premises. Beautiful job was done on the exterior.
Beautiful.
We're very proud of it and proud of the people involved that got it to that stage. But as beautiful as she is, she's not a statue. She needs to have people in her. And the more people we can get into her, the more we can use her for community functions, whether they're profitable or not, is where I hope the Symes House goes, because I believe that was the intention of town meeting. In selling us the property
Yes, it was, yes.
for $1.
Yeah.
And it was my dollar.
It was
It was my dollar.
I remember
I even
that.
put JRP in the corner when I gave it to Tiffany.
Yeah, I know.
And, so they sold us the property for $1 and gave us $1.5 million head start. We have some gap to fill, and we're working on doing that.
Yes, I can't wait. But it has to be a community endeavor. It started out that way. It must always remain that way. And these meetings behind closed doors, Randy, is just wrong. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to go to every meeting. You know, they might be alone. Look at the selectmen sometimes. There's nobody there.
For sure.
So but it's the perception and the treatment of you, Mary Ellen, and Bill Cohane has been disgusting.
Well,
I know when you are the type, you're a lover. You love everybody. And it's inconceivable to you that people can be so hurtful and sneaky, manipulative and controlling. I know you just don't function that way. And I mean, I regard you as the mayor of Manomet. I've said it to you before.
yeah.
You know, I don't always agree with you, Randy. You know that, but we have a deep respect for each other.
Yep, you've offered to hang me more than once.
No, I believe it was only once,
Yeah,
Randall.
I think it was. Yeah.
Just once.
I'm sorry, the other was strangle. But,
I would like to say something.
we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
I can take this liberty because I am the producer of the
Yes,
show.
sir.
Oh, we can't see you.
That's okay. You don't have to see me.
Yeah.
Everybody understands my voice. I just want to remind you of one thing. I was sitting in the first row at town meeting, and I've had this conversation with you. It was your word that got that house through town meeting. You were the one that rallied the troops. It's your name, it's your reputation. So if those plans don't get fulfilled, are they going to hold the current directors responsible, or are they going to come looking for Randy Parker? And you know what my answer to that is. If anybody wants to try and cut away your word to town meeting and cut away your reputation, I think they have a problem with the CPC
And the public.
and the town of Plymouth, and they need to smarten up before it's too late. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Well, it sounded like a nickel's worth to me. Thank you, Kenny. But I just want to get the project
I know.
to closure. I said I'd stay with it, and I'm going to.
I said earlier, and I said it to Ida and Kristen, that I understand that your first love is community. You understand the community, and what I mean by that, Plymouth. You understand, you love it. A lot of people say it, you live it. I don't know a selfish bone in your body. You have never, how long have I known you, Randall? 30, 35 years? I've been here over 40.
I drove all your children to school.
Yes, and it takes a long time to know a person. And I know that you are so sincere. You just didn't show up 5 minutes ago and take over an entity, and it's your way or the highway. And we couldn't ask for a better president of the Symes House.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Karen. And I think that the success that we have had and the success that I enjoy from time to time at town meeting and with the Symes House Foundation is people know that when I ask that I'm not asking
For you.
for help for myself. I'm asking others to help us help Manomet.
Yeah,
And Plymouth.
I know that, and
And
we
that's
know
where it comes
that.
from.
And those that know you know that, no matter what. So we're showing up, and I expect people to be ladies and gentlemen, and but it'll be interesting.
Well, I suppose I should go purchase a gavel.
A gavel.
Never had to use one with the Symes House.
Oh God, I think Christine has one. She loves using.
No, that's all right. I think we'll do okay.
So that's tomorrow night at the John Alden Club, 7 o'clock, for the annual meeting. And even if you're not a member, come, speak your mind.
We enjoy the public.
Yes.
And
very much.
for a $25 cover charge, you get a vote.
You get a vote.
Become a member for the year.
Yeah.
Try us out.
Or
and,
drop down to
help us.
your office. And
They can do that.
so, and I don't want to see any fancy footwork tomorrow night either. I mean, see you in 7 next week. The 3 amigos. Keep going. Oh my God, Randy, it's been like a nutball night tonight.
How so?
What's happening in our weekend? I know my mics are open. It's been, between town meeting and what's going on at the Symes House. The girls here tonight, they're adorable. They're just sweetest people. Goodbye.
Good night. Sleep well.
Yeah.